Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty World War II video. Now today a hotfix was put into the game and a lot of guns have been either nerfed or buffed and some cool weapon changes are coming in, including some nerfs to probably like two of the best guns in this game. So this should completely shift the meta and it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. Going to be reading you guys all the patch notes today, or the hotfix notes, because a hotfix technically you don't have to update the game, it's just automatically updated, but there are patch notes for it, I guess you could say, or hotfix notes technically. If you guys could drop a like on this video, I would really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and let's go for 79 likes. Smack that like button, that would be amazing if we could hit that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and let's talk about this. So all of today's hotfix was based around weapon tuning, buffing and nerfing different weapons. The first is the Itra burst, which has been known as basically the best gun in the game. I gave it my #1 spot and my top 5 guns list. The gun is really good, and today it did get a nerf, or quite a few different nerfs. Now the first is a burst cooldown nerf. There is a very slight fire rate nerf, advanced rifling attachment nerf, and a slight ADS recenter time nerf. So quite a few nerfs overall. The biggest ones that you're going to notice is advanced rifling nerf is not that big of a deal. Just don't run advanced rifling with it anymore. The fire rate nerf and the burst cooldown is what's going to be very noticeable. It basically means that your DPS, or your damage per second, your damage output, is going to be very far down with this weapon. And this was the description that Activision and Sledgehammer Games gave about it. They said that the data they've gathered since the ITRA's burst release has shown that the weapon is outperforming the designed intent. The weapon is meant to perform based off the player's ability to be accurate with every shot and be penalized with misses. With the weapon's current tuning, the data suggests that the weapon's penalty for missing isn't great enough given its power and damage potential. So essentially what this changes is they want this weapon to be what it's supposed to be, which is if you can hit your shots and if you're accurate, it will kill people instantly, basically. But these changes don't affect the damage, right? So if you still hit those shots, you're going to destroy people, but you're going to be punished if you miss those shots by longer time in between bursts, and the burst, taking longer to come out of the gun, basically like that. The other slight changes is the ADS recenter time nerf. Basically gives you, it adds, I guess you could say, a little bit of recoil, because it's going to reset after every shot, of course, but now it's going to be a little bit slower. So you got to be even more accurate with this gun. Gonna have to play with this, test it out. I still think it should be a good gun in the game. Probably not the best gun anymore, because these are fairly significant nerfs, and that's what we have to the ITRA burst. Next is going to be to the Gewehr 43, a fire rate buff. And the description for this is that contrary to the ITRA burst, the Gewehr's data has led us to conclude this weapon is too difficult to use in comparison to its damage potential. This change should allow players a strong ability to sling shots rapidly and make use of the deadly accuracy this weapon provides with the slightly higher damage potential with the increased fire rate. Now you guys may be wondering, what do they mean by a fire rate on a gun that's semi-automatic? Now these guns in recent COD games, on semi-automatic guns, they add a fire rate cap, which basically means that even if you have the trigger finger of a god, there's a limit to how fast you can press it, right? So the game will only let you shoot off a certain amount of rounds per minute or have a certain amount of fire rate. Now with the fire rate buff, that changes. So now if you're tapping the trigger faster, you're going to be able to output more damage with this gun. I think this should be pretty good, because I honestly do think that World War II, I understand why they're so heavy around doing a lot of semi-automatic guns, because of course those were very popular at the time. But at the same time, I think the balance with semi-automatic weapons has been complete trash in this game so far. I mean, there's not really, even in like BO2, BO3, I mean, we had the FAL and BO2 was like a super powerful gun. Same with Modern Warfare 2, is a pretty good gun. But in this game, you'd think that they would want the semi-automatic guns to be very strong, because it's World War II. I think that's one thing they've missed out on this whole year as far as balancing, but that's the change we have there. So if you guys are a fan of semi-automatic guns, this might be the go-to one now. I'm not really sure. Of course, it all depends on the data, and we don't have exact numbers for this fire rate buff, but people are going to have to test it out. That's definitely a good one to test out if you are a fan of the semi-automatic guns. Next is the bar, the BAR, the bar. This one has also got some nerfs. Now, the nerfs to the bar, this is a weapon that It's been nerfed, I don't know, is this the third or fourth time it's been nerfed? But it hasn't been nerfed for a while, like for months recently. Basically what they hit this one with is a slight ADS transition time nerf and a slight ADS transition time from sprint nerf. Now basically what that means in English is that your gun is going to scope in slower and out of a sprint even slower. You know, if you're standing still, it's going to scope in slower with the ADS, and out of a sprint is going to be even slower. Now this is what they say. They said that the bar has had a resurgence in the meta since the division changes, with the infantry division reducing the ADS idle sway. It basically made the gun very good, and they want the bar's damage to be, you know, to be good and everything like that, but this is sort of a trade-off that you would get with the ADS transition times to tone down the weapon strength so that it falls more in line with the other rifles. So they're basically trying to balance this one, and they're trying to get everything onto an even playing field, which is cool and which is good. Of course, that's what Call of Duty should be doing. I mean, we look at some of the best games, and they had fairly good balance. I mean, even BO3, M8, and VMP were probably a bit overpowered, but the rest of them had pretty good balance. You know, Weevil, Kuda, those are all usable and good guns. And of course, there's always going to be guns that pro players are going to be drawn to and that are going to be deemed as the best in the game. But if there is an ability to use every single gun and have a lot of strong guns, which I do think the SMGs probably have the best balance out of this game, they're trying to do that now with the assault rifles as well. Next change was to the semi-automatic pistols, the P08, the M1911, and the 9mm SAP, a slightly improved accuracy. While the machine pistol remains the most used pistol, we are buffing the semi-automatic pistols so that they yield more consistent results when shooting accurately. So basically changes to those, making them more accurate so that more people will use them instead of the machine pistol. I always think that's the same trade-off with this one. With the machine pistol, it's super easy to use, and of course that's, you know, you're going to do work with it, but the trade-off for that on the other end is that the semi-automatic guns, if you are hitting those shots, can be good, but when you're going to a secondary, usually when you're pulling out the secondary, you're already in a troublesome situation, and that's why I just think the machine pistol, it is still going to be the go-to. Of course, it depends on these changes, but I think they'd have to, you know, buff more than just that to make these guns become more popular than the machine pistol. It is just an easy go-to one, especially after the last couple of Call of Duty games with how strong the weapons have been in the secondary category. So that's it for the changes today. A bunch of weapon buffs and nerfs. Wanted to cover them for you guys. I'm gonna leave you guys with the rest of this gameplay. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys could drop a like on this video, that would be absolutely amazing. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of these changes? Do you think these are positive for the game? Let me know. And that's about it, guys. Except for Cookie and Olikie, and I'm out. Peace. Have a great day.
Package on the way. Protect the drop zone. Counterintelligence aircraft ready. They're capturing Charlie. Closing with Baker. Counter recon airborne. Charlie is overrun. Anti-aircraft bursts commenced. Clearing the skies. Recon flight concluded. They're taking Baker. Taking Baker. Baker's lost. day. Nice work, soldier.